Most people don't realize this, but the reason you feel stuck in life has very little to do with laziness, talent, or bad luck. It has everything to do with patterns, invisible patterns. Patterns in how you think, how you react, how you talk to yourself, and how you respond when life gets uncomfortable. These patterns quietly control your decisions, your habits, and ultimately your future. And here's the truth most people never hear. You don't need more motivation, more discipline, or more confidence. You need to break the negative pattern that keeps pulling you back to the same place. And once you understand how patterns really work, you can break any of them no matter how long they've controlled you. Most negative patterns don't feel negative when they start. They feel familiar, comfortable, safe. Even when they hurt you, your brain prefers them because they're predictable. The mind would rather choose a familiar pain than an unfamiliar possibility. That's why people stay in bad habits, toxic relationships, self-sabotage cycles, and low standards for years. Not because they want to suffer, but because their brain has learned this is who we are. This is how life works. Every negative pattern begins with a trigger, a feeling, a thought, a situation, stress, boredom, rejection, loneliness, fear. That trigger creates an automatic response. And when that response is repeated enough times, it becomes identity. You stop saying, I do this sometimes, and start believing, this is just how I am. This is where most people lose control of their lives. Because once a behavior becomes identity, your brain will protect it even if it's destroying you. If you procrastinate, your brain doesn't say, let's change. It says, we are someone who delays. If you quit easily, your brain says, we are someone who gives up. If you self-sabotage, your brain says, we are someone who messes things up. And once your brain accepts that identity, it will create thoughts, emotions, and excuses to keep it alive. This is why willpower fails. You don't break patterns by fighting behavior. You break patterns by interrupting identity. The first step to breaking any negative pattern is awareness, but not surface awareness, deep awareness. You must stop asking, why can't I change? And start asking, what pattern am I repeating and what am I getting from it? Because every pattern gives you something. Procrastination gives you temporary relief. Self-doubt gives you protection from failure. Avoidance gives you comfort. People-pleasing gives you approval. The brain never repeats something for no reason. Until you understand the reward behind the pattern, you will keep returning to it. Now here's the part most people don't understand. You don't break a pattern by removing it. You break a pattern by replacing it. The brain hates empty space. If you try to stop a behavior without replacing it, your mind will pull you back to the old one. That's why people quit bad habits and relapse. They removed the habit but never rewired the response. To break any negative pattern, you must change one of three things: the trigger, the response, or the meaning you attach to it. You can't always control the trigger. Life will still stress you. People will still disappoint you. Fear will still appear. But you can control the response. And that's where power is born. The moment you feel the urge to repeat the old pattern, pause. Not for hours, not for minutes. Even 5 seconds is enough. That pause breaks the automatic loop. In that pause, ask yourself one question. What would the future version of me do right now? This question forces your brain out of identity, autopilot, and into conscious choice. Negative patterns survive because they're unconscious. They die when they're exposed to choice. Now let's go deeper. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. Patterns are energy-saving shortcuts. Once something becomes habitual, the brain doesn't want to change it because change requires effort. That's why breaking patterns feels uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're rewiring your brain. Most people quit at this stage. They feel resistance and think, this isn't working. But resistance is the signal that the pattern is losing power. Every time you choose a new response, even a small one, you weaken the old neural pathway. And every time you repeat the new response, you strengthen the new one. This is not motivation talk. This is neuroscience. Your brain is plastic. It changes based on what you repeatedly do. But here's the mistake most people make. They try to change everything at once. They try to fix their entire life in one decision. And when they fail, the old pattern gets stronger because it says, see, we always fail. Instead, you must shrink the change. Don't try to be perfect. Try to be consistent. If your negative pattern is procrastination, don't aim to become hyper-productive. Aim to start for 2 minutes. If your pattern is quitting, don't aim to finish everything. Aim to stay 5 minutes longer than usual. If your pattern is negative self-talk, don't aim to love yourself overnight. Aim to interrupt the thought once. Small interruptions compound. This is how identity changes. Identity is not changed by declarations. Identity is changed by evidence. Your brain believes what it sees repeatedly. Every small win is proof. Every kept promise is proof. Every interrupted pattern is proof. And slowly, quietly, your identity shifts. Now here's something even deeper. Many negative patterns are rooted in emotion, not logic. Trauma, shame, fear, old experiences, moments where your brain learned, this is how I stay safe. That's why you must stop judging yourself for your patterns. Judgment strengthens them. Compassion weakens them. When you attack yourself, your brain feels threatened, and threatened brains cling harder to familiar patterns. But when you respond with understanding, your nervous system calms down, and change becomes possible. Breaking patterns is not about being harsh. It's about being honest. Another powerful way to break any negative pattern is to change your environment. Patterns are triggered by surroundings. If you keep placing yourself in the same environment, your brain will follow the same script. Change your location. Change your routine. Change your inputs. What you watch. What you listen to. Who you spend time with. Your mind is shaped by what it consumes. You cannot think your way out of a pattern you keep feeding. And remember this, patterns don't disappear overnight. They fade. There will be days you slip. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The difference between people who change their lives and people who stay stuck is not perfection. It's recovery speed. How fast do you return to the new behavior after slipping? That's the real measure of growth. Breaking a negative pattern also requires redefining failure. Failure is not repeating the pattern. Failure is refusing to interrupt it again. Every interruption matters. Even if you interrupt the pattern once a week at first, that's progress. And eventually, the new pattern becomes familiar, comfortable, automatic. And one day, you'll realize something incredible. The thing that once controlled you no longer has power, not because you fought it, but because you outgrew it. You didn't become a different person overnight. You became a consistent one. And here's the final truth. You are not broken. You are patterned. And patterns can be changed. No matter how long they've existed, no matter how many times you've failed, no matter how stuck you feel right now, the moment you choose awareness over autopilot, choice over impulse, identity over emotion, you begin to break the pattern. And once one pattern breaks, everything else becomes possible.